physically, okay? Physically fighting with the foe. He ends up situating himself right here about in Paris, Kentucky, in Bourbon County. And he builds this amazing house that today is called the Grange, Grange. It's one of the most important kind of architectural things in that space, but it also has 16 cells underneath it for humans. And even when people's crazy are checking the property records and people buying and selling it, some people not knowing that it has it, it's become like this, this architectural thing that people want to go and see. But these jails that he created underneath his house become a model for a whole bunch of other people in Louisiana and everything else about doing the same thing for their house. Okay? So this is who this dude is. He's selling out to the trade no matter what. But you guys ever hear the term that what comes around goes around, and payback is a September 17th, 1826, Edward Stone takes 75 Africans from his place in Bourbon County, goes up to Maysville, gets on a boat, and starts to take the boat across Dover, where we talked about before. They get past Louisville, and about 100 miles past Louisville, the Africans on board, there's 75 of them, strike out and kill Edward Stone, his son, and the 3 other ships, people who were taking them to try to get them down here to Natchez, okay? Those individuals who did this, it was it's one of the most successful kind of revolts that we see, and many people don't know about. It was 1826. 75 people killed these guys, and then they all escaped into Indiana. Now, in the end, 55 of them are actually recaptured. A number of them are resold back into enslavement, but about 19 of them disappear into the world somewhere. And we know that it was the Underground Railroad because they were very active in Indiana at the time. And now we realize it's a very, very strategic and planned revolt that happened. It wasn't just happenstance, because the ability for these individuals to literally do the deed and then be gone, and for some of them never to be found again, it talks about the complexity of it. Interesting thing about this revolt that also happens is, so in the end, nobody talks. Like in the trials, none of the people will say they did anything. They just mum on everything. Everybody's like, I'll go to the gallows. I mean, I'm not snitching for nothing. Then there's 3 dudes who say, I'm gonna take the brunt. And they say, I was there. They don't implicate anybody else. It's me. And then another dude, and this is, you guys, there's a problem sometimes in every community where you got somebody who just don't think straight, right? So I told you there's 75 people on this ship, right, who attacked these 5 people, killed them to get their freedom, right? Hey, Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me death, right? So I'm not dissing what they did to get their freedom, right? They were going to go and live that crazy life. But there was one dude who was what we call the body servant of Edward Stone. Body servant is your male personal attendant and everything else. That dude defends Edward Stone when the other Africans are trying to kill him. So much so that they leave him for dead, thinking that he was dead, because this dude, you imagine 75 people fighting to get their freedom, and one brother standing up here and defending the oppressor, right? So he ends up surviving. He ends up there, and I told you 3 guys said what they did, right? Because they were like, I'm gonna take it. And then all of a sudden in the trial, Lewis is his name, shows up and goes, it was him and it was him too. Lewis is rewarded with his freedom and a house on his former owner's land. So it says, so he can gaze at the plantation that his owner, that he fought so hard to protect for the rest of his life in happiness, is what they said. Crazy, ain't it? That's Lewis, so I don't want to be the Lewis in this world, all right? And you guys may know, many times these revolts or attempted revolts are thwarted because somebody believes that the person who owns them has some general love for them better or whatever else, and can't seem to figure out the class consciousness, which is they are oppressing all these people who look like you. You get me? But that's what happens here. So when that happens and Edward Stone is kind of off the market, another dude steps up into his place. And he's from Maysville too. His name is John Anderson. Now that Stone is out of the way, hey, they had been competitors before. Actually, this dude had testified in one of the trials of Stone when he had fought the African before, physically. And this dude's name is John Anderson. He's like, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. So he wants to up his practice. Now, he's come from Kentucky, from Virginia also. And he needs some investors to get this new practice going. He consults somebody who lived in the neighborhood in Maysville, a man named John Marshall. Does anybody know who John Marshall is? historians, all you history people, John Marshall is the longest tenured Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice in American history. From 1801 to 1834, he is the Chief Justice of the United States of America. He's the major investor in John Anderson's new enterprise. His new enterprise, which is now I'm going to take the place of Stone. And Marshall is with it, and Marshall's brother is with it, and they continually fund this guy for the next about 4 years, as you guys will see in a second. So come on over here. So in Maysville, Kentucky, this